I've always found that mastering is perhaps the least understood of all the disciplines. And in fact, I get people who have made records who still confuse the terms mixing and mastering, which is unusual. So for the layman, how would you describe mastering? What is the essence of what you're doing?
Yes, the essence in what this statement that I'm about to give has changed over time. But what I feel, and this is my own opinion, is that it is whatever you need to do to feel most connected to the music. Once the project is mixed, it's your job to increase that connection, whatever that ends up meaning, in the most effortless way possible, so you as a listener feel most connected to that material, and then know when to walk away and not do anything at all. And sometimes that means doing actually nothing at all. It's pretty rare, because there's always something that we can do in terms of textural feel, especially because we work analog, and so much work is presented digital. Majority, I'd say about 98% now, comes to us digitally. Yeah. So we do offer that, even if we do nothing at all. Just running through our flat chain gives you something. That people often, and it's not flat, it's flat with our flat, right? But there is something there that people end up always loving, even if it's very, very little in terms of adjusting the frequency balance. But what it really is whatever you need to do to increase that connection in its entirety. If there's any more you can do to make that connection more connected, you do it. If not, if you take a step in the other direction, don't do it. And those are the rules to go on. So what does that really mean? That means optimizing the material. And it's sizing up what's presented to you in the mix form. And I'll even digress a little bit and go back. When you're producing a record, for those that might not really understand so much about music production, is you're blending the elements within the arrangement in the mix. You're recording everything, you're choosing your elements, maybe guitar, bass, vocals and drums. If it's a traditional rock band, if it's a virtual, maybe it's a more virtualized arrangement, synthesized, sample-based, you're picking your sounds and you're creating a blend. You're mixing that blend in the mixing process. And if you're mixing to stereo, you're mixing it to two channels, left and right. And then that is printed that way and then presented to a mastering engineer. This is traditionally. Things don't always go this way anymore, because everybody, does things differently. But traditionally, you end up in that place, and that's your mix, and then you present that to a mastering engineer who's an objective person that hasn't heard this umpty nine times, completely objective, and is able to introduce their absolute first reaction in terms of what they can do to take it further. And process those two channels, let's say we're working in stereo, to optimize them further. Maybe you're working on a single and you're only focused on that one song, or you're working on a number of songs as maybe a compilation from various artists, various producers, or one artist as an album. And now we have to find a certain continuity so it all can live on one canvas. That's a big part of the mastering process. So optimizing it either for itself or to live in conjunction with other material, and then formatting it for release, which is the final step of the mastering process outside of the musical step, is formatting all the various masters. Oftentimes we're making masters specifically for Apple. It used to be called Master for iTunes. Now it's Apple Digital Master. Then we're making a standard digital master, typically 4416, although that's going to change probably sooner than we know. For all the various platforms, Spotify, Google, Amazon, etc. We're still making DDPIs for CD release for those that still want to make CDs, although we're moving out of that more and more every day. And then, of course, high-resolution masters to be cut to vinyl. And then sometimes high-resolution masters just to go out in general, which is Apple's new initiative, which is going to be very exciting. And then also, the services that do playback HD, 96K all the way up to 192, 88.2. These are the higher res formats that are popular.